Good morning. We'll be moving on, leaving AutoCAD for use as a tool in strength of materials, but I want to go through and give you all one more stab to actually read through a checklist that's not laid out like a rubric. So I'm going to go take the next 20 minutes tops and draft that structural design and drafting. I'm going to try to do it in 10. So I laid out about 30 points that I will provide to a rubric after you read through this, but when you go through this, you get a general picture of what you need. You have a scale, you have a pitch, and then you need to keep some basic AutoCAD skills or figure out how you can do things relatively quickly. Understand that layering is a really important thing, that you do it naturally even if you're not provided it. So here's how I'm going to start this. On instruction, I said File, New. The instruction was to use a decimal template. I'm at home, so I've got to think about where are all my templates. I know I keep one around on the K drive, and I'm going to go ahead and take that decimal template, knowing it doesn't have everything I need, but it's probably not a bad place to start. Understand the only difference between a decimal and a decimal and an architectural generally is the unit. So I can go ahead and double check my units here. And I'm going to maybe, say I'm going to eventually deal with this architecturally, so I might put that insertion in inches, or I might put it in feet. I'm going to leave it here in feet. I'm good to go there. I right away look at my layers, and I might say, boy, those are not layers that I need. I really might want to start all the way down from nothing, so I can go to here all the way down to here. Do a right click and do a delete. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything there. Introduce you here to something that's a great command, and that's called the purge command. Purge command, you're going to purge out the layers, purge all, cancel. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit close. Purge is a great command for doing stuff. Now I've got my layers. Well, and when you're setting up layering, remember a couple of things that are important is not just the color and the line type, but the plot style. So we'll start here with just starting our best base one, and that's basically the object command here, and that's going to be the one we copy off of because it's got a line weight set. And we're going to start to realize that we want to put layers in terms of in families. So we're going to start with the geometry, and so we're going to make a new layer here and say geom underscore nodes, and then we might again hit here and say geom underscore members, and once again say geom underscore LOF for lines of force. You might keep going and say, boy, forces, I'm just going to go ahead and again going off the same basic starting one. You see they're now all turned off, so I'm going to click out there. It's going to copy whatever I do here. So I might, right now I've got all my geometry in green. I'm going to now do here and say geom underscore, force underscore applied, perhaps. Force underscore resultant. Especially if you've got distributed loads, which we don't have in this case, and then force underscore reactive. And you might have internal reactive. You got all those done, you're on a roll, you might as well keep going. You might go with comps underscore radial underscore vector. You might go with comps underscore moment underscore arm, or something like that. You already have a view layer. At this point in time, you can probably, you're thinking, oh, I got to get drafting. You might get drafting, but you might right away go ahead and just put these things in colors. You kind of got this all laid out. You can, of course, manage by hitting name, put things in families if you would. And so we'll put the comps for now on a blue layer. And of course, you can grab all the comps if you want and make them blue. And you can grab all the forces if you want to grab all the force ones and make them green, and all the geometry you might want to make them yellow, but probably you're going to want to mix them match in between. So this is all laid out. you're really ready to draft now. And one final one, it's not a bad idea, as we talked about it once before, is to go ahead and add one more, and that's geometry underscore spine. All right, and that one I'm going to put in, there's really a baseline color here, something that's really underneath, something relatively low, and really I'm going to start drafting on that. All right, so I've laid out my layers correctly, having looked at the document. Very often you get rid of this box that's given to you, and you may make a box right away bigger than the thing you want to draft. In this case, I don't want to use the time to do the calculation on the fee box, but I'm just going to go ahead and put a box here, put it on the correct layer if I would, which would be on the view layer, and I'm going to draft a box from, for instance, someplace lower than 0, 0 perhaps, and then say at line or rectangle or whatever you're going to use from someplace down here, and then say at 100 angle 0, zoom E, zoom extents, and then I'm going to offset this 100 feet. Zoom extents, zoom E, offset. I'm losing a little bit down here on my bottom, so I'm going to see if I can shift this up a little bit. I'll turn on my dynamic for everyone who likes to have the dynamic on. Let's see if I can do that here. I will prove that it can be done. Turn on the dynamic here and say offset 100. Zoom extents. And I don't know where that's going actually. So zoom 0.2x, zoom 0.2x. And I start then to worry how big I drafted something. So I'm going to list. I made a polyline some odd way. So I'll try it again. I'm going to draft to do a line from some odd point here, 100, offset 100. And now I've probably got something that makes a little bit more sense from the end point there to the end point there. Notice I'm not drafting in the right direction, breaking the rules. It's a view box. It's really not so important, but later on the direction will be important. P-edit, perhaps. P-edit. Yes, join, cross. And right away, never a bad idea just to do the minus V for view, W for window, plot, view from the endpoint there. And of course, you can skip all this stuff, but very often it's not a bad idea to draft something bigger than the box that you're drafting. I'm now going to draft in that 40-foot length span, going to the geometry spine and logically starting at 0, 0. Do a line from, I think it's the number sign, isn't it? Number sign 0, tab 0. Move my hand over here and take it out 40 feet. Learning to left click over the top, spacebar, rotate from here, left click, spacebar, C for copy, reference from here to there, new reference angle, F8 off, 5, 4, 12. Doesn't do that. So what can you do instead? Well, I'm thinking too much in SketchUp. I can just do a line from the, screwing up here. I'm going to do a line from the end point of here at at 12, go back here, at 12 tab 4. And I can do a mirror. This object, about what point? The midpoint of that. Take it up here, F8 on. I can fill it radius 0. Now, the next step, I think, baffled a number of you, and in reality, I'm going to do it here with points, but using the divide command in this program is different than many programs in that it'll just drop in points. So I'm going to go ahead, right away, go to my geometry nodes, right? And I'm just going to say now, divide. Select the object to divide. 4 pieces. Divide, 4 pieces. Divide, 6 pieces. Divide, 6 pieces. Object, 6 pieces. And you have then the start of what you can label, but I'm going to come back and do the attribute in the next video and finish it up in the second 10 minutes. Hang on and keep listening, unless you've got it all right.